Searchlights on Delinquency, a blueprint for action. Produced for the Educational Television and Radio Center under the supervision of the Sheriff's Office of Cook County, Illinois, featuring the nationally known criminologist and Sheriff of Cook County, Joseph D. Lohman. Tonight's guest.
Let's turn now to a young man who lived in this half-world of the gang. And from his lips, as he is interrogated by Captain Richard Boone of the Juvenile Bureau of the Sheriff's Office, hear from him about the gang and its attractiveness for the young man.
When did you get busted last? When did you get arrested last?
Oh, about a year ago.
What for?
For fighting disorderly conduct.
Was this the most serious thing you've been involved in, or were you mixed up in something worse than that?
I got in trouble when I was about 13 years old for robbery and grand larceny.
Were you a lone wolf operating alone, or what?
No, I got busted with my gang.
I'd like to stop you right there. How old were you?
I was about 13.
And you were already in a gang. How old were you when you first joined a gang?
Oh, I was about 9 years old.
How does a person get in? You were only 9 years old. You don't go up and say, can I join the gang, do you? What sort of a neighborhood were you living in?
Well, I lived in a pretty lousy neighborhood, and I don't know how you really get in. You got to show them you got guts. You can fight or you can steal something.
You have to prove yourself?
Yes.
How did you prove yourself?
Well, I guess I fought the guy. I like to fight.
What percentage of the youngsters would you guess in your neighborhood were a member of the gang?
Oh, I'd say about 90%.
That's pretty high. Did a youngster have to join, or could he stay out?
Well, he could stay out, but he just about was nothing in the neighborhood. He was nowhere.
Was it dangerous for him to stay out or not?
Well, that's putting it mildly. He got hurt once in a while, maybe.
He went in for his own protection?
In a way, yes.
You went in when you were 9 years old for your own protection?
Oh, I went in because I wanted to.
How many youngsters were mixed up in that gang that you were operating in?
I'd say there was about 30 or 40 of us.
Was there a leader?
Yeah, there was a leader.
Okay, I want to stop you there. How did he get to be leader?
Well, he was about, usually 2 or 3 years older than the rest of the guys, and he knew where the joints were to be made at, and he knew the connections and how to get rid of stuff.
Well, you learned something in the gang, too. Did you learn anything good?
Well, I wouldn't say I learned anything good, but I learned that you got in trouble or something, the guy stuck with you, and you learn how to make a joint or steal a car. You learn to get rid of the stuff when you got it.
What do you mean, get rid of the stuff?
Well, well, like one time, me and a few of the other guys, we made a joint for about 15 cases of booze. So I'm a new guy in the clique. I don't know nothing, where to get rid of it. So this one guy, he's older and he knows the fence to sell it to. So he sells the stuff, and then he introduces me, then I know the guy.
But you finally get busted.
Yeah.
Did you get sent away?
I got sent away for about 3 years, yeah.
That took you out of circulation then, more or less. I would suppose it would anyway.
Are you referring to the gangs, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Matter of fact, I was in a stronger gang in than I was in the outside.
You mean in the institution, too?
Yeah.
Well, explain that to me a little bit.
First place, I was sent away with a few of the guys that went down with me. And then I met some guys in there that I knew on the outside, and we formed a clique. And in there, I mean, everybody's in there for one thing. And from each neighborhood, there's a few guys, and they have their own clique.
You mean the neighborhoods were represented in the institution in the form of little gangs inside, too?
That's correct.
You did time there, and you came out.
Yeah.
When you hit the scenes, when you came on the outside, did you go back to the old crowd, to the old haunt, so to speak?
Well, I cooled it for a couple of weeks. I went back and seen a few of the guys in that, but they weren't over. They were squares. I mean,
What do you mean,
they
squares?
didn't have nothing on the ball. Well, they didn't know the lingo or anything. They didn't know how to talk.
Well, where did you learn how to talk?
Well, from the gang and from the joint. So,
Well, what do you mean, the lingo?
well, we'll say now you come up to me and you say, well, I just seen a fight down the street. Well, I don't go that. If you come up to me and say I seen a rumble, well, then I know what you're talking about. Otherwise, you come up to me, you say, well, I just bought a car. Well, I'd say I bought a short. I mean, to me, you're a square.
Well, you learned a whole new language. And
Yeah.
Well, you were involved in a lot of stealing in the gang. What about violence? Was there much of it or not?
Oh, it came pretty often, yeah. Like, well, this one time, like, a couple of guys from another clique come and took a couple of our girls out, and we went down there in their neighborhood, caught a couple of them, stomped their heads in. Then we come back to our neighborhood. We lived in this, like a housing project. So we had bricks stashed on this roof and that, and when they came in, then we threw bricks at their heads. About 6 of them were taken to
How
hospital.
many were in that fight or rumble?
Well, we had about 200 in our clique, and they had about 150.
200 and 150.
Yeah.
All in gang warfare.
Yes.
You're older now. Are you still running around with these guys, or have you separated out?
No, I'm still running with them. I mean...
Why? I mean, do you grow up?
Well, let's put it this way. I ain't never had a home, and to them, that's my home. To me, that's my home, and they're my friends, and they understand me.
Everybody in the neighborhood has friends. Here's a boy that doesn't. Now, here they can show their aggressiveness. Here they can afford to be a little less fearful.
This is the in-group, so to speak, against the outsider.
Exactly, and here's the outsider. Here's the boy who is at the mercy of the in-group.
Well, thank you, Dr. Breen. Again, we'll throw our searchlight in another film on the spoiled brat, the poor little rich boy, and how he contributes to our overall pattern of delinquency. Thank you for being with us.
Searchlights on Delinquency, a blueprint for action, was prepared for the Educational Television and Radio Center under the supervision of the Sheriff's Office of Cook County, Illinois. Searchlights on Delinquency features Joseph D. Lohman, nationally known criminologist and the Sheriff of Cook County. Tonight's guest, Dr. Leonard Z. Breen. Searchlights on Delinquency originated in the studios of station WTTW, Chicago. Your announcer, Ken Vallis. This is National Educational Television.